For this video, we are going to show how to modify a fence gate by adding offset electric wires to secure the gate in a bear-proof manner. For our fence, we have all metal swing gates. So for this gate design, we will be using 2x4 treated wood boards secured to the gate to offset our wires. With metal gates, you want to make sure to use an insulated post, such as wood, fiberglass, or composite posts, to act as an insulator from the metal gate and prevent grounding issues. For our gate design, we'll be using 2x4 wood boards attached to the gate, which will be used to offset the 3 electric hot wires. We will install a gate cutoff switch, along with bury an insulated wire to connect our fence sections. The supplies we will be using include 4 2x4 treated wood boards cut into 5-foot lengths. We'll use 3 U-bolts per board to secure them to the gate, wood post insulators and wraparound insulators to offset our wires, along with 12-gauge aluminum wire and insulated wire for our connections. The first step will be to secure the 2x4 wood boards to the gate. You want a wood board at each end of the gate panel as close to the ends as possible to prevent gaps in gate areas where animals may slip through. The other 2 boards will be spaced evenly in the middle. When securing a gate to prevent animals from escaping, you want to check for gaps underneath the fence and on the sides. Measure the gap between the ground and the bottom of the gate as the gate is closed. If the gap is 6 to 8 inches or greater, you may need to add a lower drop wire to prevent animals from going under the gate. You can use your 2x4 dropped a few inches lower than the bottom of the gate, allowing you to have a lower hot wire at the bottom to prevent animals from crawling under. Just be sure to hang the post at a height that it will not drag on the ground when the gate is opened or closed. Swing the gate open in both directions to make sure the 2x4 post has enough clearance as to not to drag on the ground. Grab a marking pencil, a 2x4 board, and a U-bolt. Hold the 2x4 up to the gate at the height you will be hanging it. With the marking pencil, mark a line where the U-bolt will go around the gate tubing and secure to the 2x4 board. We will pre-drill holes in the 2x4 to fit the U-bolts through. Mark the distance between the U-bolt ends for the pre-drilled holes at the appropriate distance to fit the U-bolt through the 2x4. Use a drill the holes using a drill bit that is about the same size or slightly bigger diameter than the U-bolt ends. Once you're done drilling, fit the U-bolt back through the holes to make sure they fit through. Then hang on the gate to check the hole placement. With the board to the outside of the gate, fit the U-bolt over the gate tubing, bringing the U-bolt ends through the 2x4 through the pre-drilled holes. Then fit the U-bolt washer and bolts over the U-bolt ends and tighten to secure the 2x4 snug to the gate. Repeat these steps with the rest of the 2x4s. Our next step will be to mark the wire heights on each post. Using a tape measure, mark the heights for each wire strand on the 2x4. For grizzly bear deterrent electric fences, similar to our electric fence design, you want a top wire to prevent bears from crawling over the gate, a middle wire to secure the gap between the middle bars, and a low wire to prevent bears from digging under the gate, ideally no higher than 6 to 8 inches off the ground. After marking the posts, install the insulators that will hold the offset electric wires. We'll be using wood post claw insulators for our middle insulators and wraparound insulators for our ends. Install the wood post claw insulators to the middle 2x4 boards on the fence. For the end post insulators, we will be using wraparound insulators. Wrap the insulated tubing around the end post. You want just enough insulated tubing to insulate the wire from the post, so cut off any extra insulated tubing using wire cutters. To stretch up your first line, you'll want your wire, the wraparound insulators, and any necessary tools. We'll also be using NitroPress sleeves for our connections, so slip the sleeves on the wire ahead of time, then slip the wire through the wraparound insulator. Wrap the wire and wraparound insulator around the end post, bringing the wire tail end back through the sleeve. Using a NitroPress tool, you can press and secure the tap in place. You can also use wire tying techniques for the ends, however wire taps make a more permanent connection. Staple up the wraparound insulator to hold the wire strand in place, just being careful not to puncture the insulated tubing. Run the wire through the middle insulators and go to the end of the line. To end the line, cut the wire, leaving enough to wrap around the end post, leaving some slack. To tighten the wires, you can either pull the wire as tight as you can before tying off the wire or using a wire sleeve and tap. You can also use inline wire tighteners to tighten the fence. For this fence gate design, we're actually going to be using a gripple and a gripple tool for making the wire tight. Slip a gripple over the wire first ahead of time, then slip the wire through the wraparound insulator and around the post. Bringing the tail end piece of the wire back through the gripple piece, the wire feeds through the gripple without allowing the wire to pull back out. Pull the wire through the gripple until the wire is tight. If you have a gripple tool, use the tool to further tighten the wires, just being careful not to over tighten it. Now you have your electric fence gate set up, and we're ready to make our connections and install the gate cutoff switch. We'll show making our connections in our next video.